Welcome to the Blockchain Hustle, where I take a look at some interesting plays of how blockchain technology is opening up new business vistas across multiple industries. Hi everyone, this is your host Meenu Serene with the 12th and the final episode of the Blockchain in the New Norm series. Now let me do a quick summary, a wrap up, with my objective behind the series. What I wanted to cover in my share coupled with the outlines of each episode, so that this can also serve as your index to the series. Now this series, it was incepted with the COVID pandemic context, with a lot of talk around adapting to the new norm, both on an individual level as well as on the business level. From lockdowns, restricted movement and travel, Zoom meetings to reviving demand, rebooting operations and supply chains, reassuring your employees and customers. Lots of things have changed this year. And tech has emerged as an anchor point in this new norm. This series was a delve into how blockchain specifically is helping businesses in this new normal. I covered two topics under this series. The first one is a safe back to work, and the second, the repurposing of supply chains. So here what follows is a summary of what we explored in the series. The first part was an introduction to the series. The second part, in fact, part 2 to 8 are on safe back to work. Now in the second part, I set the context of a safe back to work, along with some criteria for the feasible solutions, including how blockchain is becoming an important cog, or should I say a vital link in this. And I covered 3 facets of safe back to work. The first one is what it means as an employee, second as a company, and thirdly as a community. Let me elaborate a bit on each. The first one is what it means for an employee. A set of solutions for enterprises for its employees. Getting your employees safely back to work and facilitating a safe working environment for them. I call this as safe back to work. The second one, which I termed it as a safe back to business, is for a company. How do I, as a company, as an enterprise, how do I reassure my business stakeholders about the safety of my products and services? The risk management processes that I need to and have put in place. The infection risk management solutions towards addressing how an enterprise can get safely back to business with its stakeholders. And the third category, which I termed it as being safe, this is the overarching aspect, one which underpins everything. Can I help in facilitating a quick and a safe quest for successful medical solutions for this pandemic? How do we gather and manage the COVID-related health data to facilitate the work of the clinicians, the researchers, the scientists, etc., the health fraternity, who are looking towards some sort of a medical solution like a vaccine? Basically, this is a solution that aggregates, integrates, and shares the COVID-related data that can be tapped by the relevant entities in the pursuit of a medical breakthrough. So all this is covered in the second part. In the third part, I take a look at some of the safe back to work solutions out there in the market. And in this episode, I share on the COVID-19 immunity passport solution from SICPA-OpenHealth-Guardtime consortium. In the fourth part, I share a couple more examples further on the COVID-19 immunity passport solutions. And these examples include the IOC AOKpass from the International Chamber of Commerce, Perlin-AOKpass-International SOS, and another one from QDX Health ID from the Quantum Materials Corporation. Part 5. Well, this had a share, which I personally found it extremely interesting. This had a share from UK's Open University blockchain-based solution, which stores your immunity certificates on solid pod. It's mainly about my data, my control. Part 6 is on a safe back to business. And in this episode, I shared on DNV GL and ToolChain's blockchain solution, which was used by the shipping company Viking Line. Now, parts 7 and 8 are on the third category, being safe. And this episode is on a key problem which is faced by the health fraternity, which is studying the COVID-related data from the multi, disparate, and the solo sources. And this problem is the lack of integration of verified data sources that can be used by this community. It could be used with confidence. How do you get reliable information? And I share my thoughts on this. Why is this a challenging task? And I also do a brief share on a data platform called MiPasa. Continuing on the data platforms, in part 8, I shared another such platform, which is called Shivom. Parts 9 to 11 are on the second theme of this series, that is the repurposing of supply chains in the new norm. And in the 9th part, I introduced this theme and I share some thoughts on how supply chains in the new normal, they're getting repurposed. The prioritization is shifting from efficiency and productivity to resilience and flexibility. And organizations, they are leveraging blockchain to help achieve the same. In part 10, I look at answers to some of the questions, like how do you build critical supply chain resilience? How do you de-risk your supply chain? In this part, in this episode, I look at a couple of companies, Tymlez and Rapid Medical Parts, which are working on this particular problem using blockchain. And as far as the part 11 is concerned, well, a recent World Economic Forum report highlighted a couple of key principles for the Agile blockchains, which is ensure data privacy for the suppliers and incentivizing the suppliers to share data. This part 11, is a delve into this and a toolkit from World Economic Forum to help the supply chains. And part 12, which is this, is a summary and the wrap-up of this series. Well, so this brings us to the end of this podcast series on blockchain in the new norm. Hope you have found this helpful and also enjoyed listening to the series. We'll shortly come back with a new topic, and should you have any suggestions on this, give me a shout out. Do stay tuned. Until then, keep safe and healthy. Cheers. You've been listening to the Blockchain Hustle. Did you enjoy this podcast? If so, please do leave a short review, like it, share it, download it, subscribe to it. What should I talk about next? Please do let me know your suggestions by writing to me at meenu@vlsiconsultancy.com or through any of the other contact channels as shared in the episode notes. Thanks.